I am award-winning published photographer and journalist Evan J. Thomas, and I'll be bringing you badass artists from the genres of music, art, sports, radio, as well as TV and movies. On the Badass Podcast, you will hear raw, bold, blunt, and honest conversation-style interviews where no topic is off limits. Check out the show at badassproductions1.com and go to the On Demand tab and pull up the Badass Podcast where you can watch or listen to your favorite show. Get ready, because I am Evan J. Thomas, and this is fucking badass. All right, Evan J. Thomas here. Vince of Awake at Last.
How you guys doing?
What's going on? So
I'm
you're
super stoked to be here.
Are you? Have you ever been to Chicago before?
We have. We've actually played the Forge a few times before in the past.
I think I didn't see you here, but I think I might have seen.
That's right. You're here now. That's all that matters.
I am here. I'm finally going to be able to photograph them. There's also Raw on the bill. And Red Star, there's a gentleman sitting to my right off camera, Damien. He's here too. Decided not to be in this video. It's okay. Well, actually, we all decided. But anyway, we're here to talk to Vince about his band and his music.
Absolutely.
So, how's this tour been with you guys in Raw and Red Star so far?
It's still pretty early, but it's actually been really, really fun. I think that all three bands bring something to the table that like really makes for like a super good package of like how the sound kind of travels. It kind of takes everybody on a little bit of a journey, and I dig it. That's
good, because you have the harder stuff, you have the rap rock, you have, the more, as you said, what did you say, hopes and dreams music.
No, like, we try to be like kind of like a theatrical rock band, I guess. We try to do like a little bit of like that kind of a flair.
Okay. So where did that kind of vibe come from? I hate to ask the influence question, but I'm going to bring it up right now.
That is a good question, though. I like, so I'm really into like video game music and stuff like that, you know? Like I loved the Final Fantasy series growing up. I loved Chrono Trigger growing up. And they all had these amazing scores that, like really visualized music. Yeah, cool, just real like kind of spacey and I kind of just, as we started developing with our rock band, it was like we started to bring those elements into it, and like now we kind of have like this sort of like theatrical kind of flair to the good old-fashioned rock and roll.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you had the song Armageddon come out earlier this year. Your last album was about 2.5 years ago or so.
Yeah, last album was Before the World Ended.
Before the World sort of ended.
It's
still ending. We're still in the middle of it ending. So
yeah, we'll see how things go.
So getting your music and getting it played on like Octane, I mean, what's the kind of process you guys have to go through? Because I hear it's a really tough thing to get your music on like the Octane stations and stuff like that.
It took a while for us to get into Octane's thing. What basically happened though is we had a song that we did on our EP that was before even The Change came out, called Purgatorium, that was on our EP, and that one was kind of doing pretty well, and we ended up doing the test drive with Octane like back in the day when it was still like Twitter voting and stuff like that was how they like picked the thing. Nowadays it's a little more like involved with like people sending their like
little tweets and
stuff. But back then that's when we like first got that, and it was like a big boom for us. We ended up like really meeting a lot of really cool people, and Octane's been really, really awesome and has kind of stayed with us through our journey as we've been kind of like continuing from there, like moving from there. So it started with like the test drive, and then I think eventually when we started to get the record going and we put out something else, we did another test drive, and then the people actually really kind of I gotta give it to the fans, because they're the ones who kind of like told them to keep playing us.
They're the ones that pushed
changed everything. Yeah, so it was really cool.
And it's kind of cool how I find most of the bands that I interview and talk to and even play on my own radio show off of Octane.
Right.
So I mean, yes, the publicists do their job and do all that, but it's like you still have to go out and find it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of new music out there. Is there any like bands now that you are kind of listening to that you didn't really listen to a couple years ago? Right? Like new bands popping up that you like?
There's a lot of good music that's been kind of coming out. Like, I know Ice Nine Kills has been putting out some cool stuff. And we did that tour with them. We did the Octane Accelerator tour with them. So yeah, I love what they do, because they kind of bring that theatrical flair to it too, like, but it's all like the horror theme, It's like super, I love how those guys do that. There's a few I really like, but no, there's a lot of different music that's starting to kind of burst through. We just did a tour with Varsity. Those guys are doing really cool. They have a really cool flair to what they're doing with their music too, So I love seeing how we're starting to kind of evolve and kind of like reconnect ourselves to the music scene as it's changed, you know?
And changing music, obviously, that's always a vibe that you want to see in rock and metal. There's the vibe from like 20-some years ago when Ross started, to when you guys started 10 years ago, to when Red Star's starting now. There's like all these different types of music coming out, but like the rap rock thing has been kind of forefront a lot lately. I mean, you have them, you have like Jared
our buddies
Johnson.
In From Ashes to New, do a lot of rap rock. They're great. Yeah, so dude, we've done some tours with those guys. They're awesome.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we've done some jams with those guys. They're great.
See you then,
yeah, you might have. We did a couple of jams with them.
So yeah, but like it's almost like there has to be an ever-changing style of rock. So your hopes and dreams, as you call it, the music.
So when I say hopes and dreams, so I when I first started the band, I got really into The Secret, law of attraction, you know, like manifesting how you want your life to play out, and kind of like using the power of intention and word, you know, and you know, so that's where when I say like hopes and dreams, it's just I try to like bring that into the music a bit, so that the listeners, because you know a lot of fans go through shit, you know, rock and roll saves your life, you know, for a lot of people, you know.
Sure,
so I try. I know there's a lot of like negativity out there, and I just tried to bring a little bit more of that, you know, kind of spiritual element. You know, I got into like the Tao Te Ching and the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I like kind of I like did some like weird soul searching, and you know, and then when I can, if I can like somehow harness that energy and like help elevate and inspire the other people, I like to try and like, you know, get it out there, because a lot of people don't even know about it because they just haven't found it, you know what I mean? If I can give it to them, then they can take it and, you know, change however they want their reality to go, you know?
So when you see the crowd out there kind of connecting with you and your music and your vocals and your lyrics that you come up with, and then people after the show come up to you and say, oh my God, like this song or these lyrics, how does that make you feel? Because obviously when you wrote it, you kind of wrote it for you, sort of, kind of.
It is the most rewarding like aspect, I think, of even being able to do this. You know, I really like yesterday was a really good example. A lot of people came up, you know, because I got songs about, you know, removing toxic people from your life, you know, loving yourself first before you let yourself cut and get into like a toxic relationship and stuff like that, you know. And when they come up and that really like strikes a chord with them, that makes all the like hot van sleeps and like, you know, the long drives and you know, the kind of, you know, the grind of everything that we've been doing really worth it, you know, because if I can elevate and inspire them and get them to that place, then, you know, they might leave that concert and like go quit their job that they hate, or you know what I mean, or they might take that next step that helps to move along their chapter.
And
you know
that's
what I mean?
exactly what people need. Sometimes they need that push, that kick in the ass.
And it's what us musicians do. We inspire, you know?
Exactly. And that's exactly what you guys need to do. So on this tour, you guys have been on, what is this, your fourth show?
This is... So we started, I think this is the third show.
Third show, okay.
Yeah. And then we've got the day off tomorrow because it's Monday, you know, so we're just going to be chilling. We were just on a headliner for a week and a half with Varsity, actually, before we hopped on this tour. We've been out for like 2 weeks now, but I'm ready for like, you know, a chill day. But this is still pretty relatively new, the Raw run with Red Star and stuff.
So being on tour, you've been doing it for a while, many years now. And I just started a podcast called Sound Story Stages, a history of iconic music venues.
Hey, very cool.
So just where you've traveled, what are some of your favorite music venues you've been to?
Oh, man.
There's so many good ones. I know there's so many good ones. Name some off, because
I love the Varsity Theater.
Where's that
Varsity?
at?
No.
Oh my
God. It's not Varsity. Oh my God, what's the theater? I hate this so much.
Vince is on the spot.
I know, I'm not really, I can't even remember what it's called. Belasco Theater, that's what it was. Belasco Theater was one of my favorites. I love all the House of Blues, especially the Chicago one. We call that the House of Stairs. That one has all these, like, dude, you have to go up so many stairs.
There's like 5 floors.
Yeah, there's a lot to that one. I love those. There's a place called the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan that I freaking love.
Okay, so again, I've done every interview I've done, and I've asked this question. the machine shop has popped up every single time.
It's because the crew there knows what they're doing, dude. Like, the light guy's amazing, the sound guy's amazing. They've all been doing it for years and years, and they're like, we got you. And then every time, no matter what, it's a killer show.
And I've been there
they
one
just take
time.
care of you over there.
One time I've been there, I saw Otherwise, Blacktop Mojo, I forgot who, actually I don't forget, it was Kira and then Lowwater. And that was one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen.
Dude, I love that
Like
place.
you said, the lighting, the music, the vibe.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's in the middle of a seedy area.
Right, it's like so off the beaten path,
you got
but it's
the
worth
strip
it.
clubs down the way, you got the abandoned building.
Yep.
So any venues that you'd like to hit up that you've never played before?
I would like to play some of the like legendary places. You know, we've like played like the Hollywood like spot. It's like a small spot. It's literally called like the Hollywood venue. And then I'd love to see like the Viper Room though. You know, like one of those like iconic.
So you've never played
Los
the Viper
Angeles.
Room?
No,
Okay.
we see we're from the East Coast, so it's like a little bit harder to get over to the West Coast sometimes.
It's called
you
a
know?
long drive.
Yeah, it's if we can do like a full tour where we can like slowly go through it and like build up to it, we can pull it off, but it's really hard to justify like going all the way over there, without having like a trip to make,
So what makes a good music venue experience for you playing? Obviously, you kind of mentioned the lights and the sound and everything.
Lights and sound are you always want good lights and sound. I think the people really is what it comes down to. There are some people who are really passionate about music and love what they do, and those guys will totally take care of you in like the best ways, So, that the staff is always awesome. I love working with a lot of the staff. I've met some of the coolest people I know. And then you'll go to like the NAMM show, or you'll go to like, a convention where music's up, and you'll like bump into your, like the venue. It's just that I think that the people in general usually make the best experiences with everything you do. It's all about who you surround yourself with and how you vibe with everybody's energies,
Because that's my thing lately is I'm trying to travel around to different music venues to check out bands. Like I'm supposed to be going to the Agora Theater in Cleveland.
Hey, that place is actually really cool.
I've never been there.
That place is like legendary.
So
cool.
I'm going to see Ministry there.
Nice.
Holy shit.
That's going to be a jam.
Another one, Park West here in Chicago, which I've never been to either. And I live here. So I'm going to see the Who there.
The Who?
The H.U. Who.
That'll be awesome.
The
ones that they did that song with Jacoby
Wow.
Shaddix. Yeah. No, they're cool. I like that they're like so like
gritty.
They're doing it though. Like even though you can't even without even understanding really the language, they are really good. That's actually one I would have mentioned earlier that I enjoyed that came out with some stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes you to a different place, takes you on a journey.
Vibe, man.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And it's funny because I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. I remember somebody posted a GIF of them playing, and they're like, "Check out this Mongolian metal band." And then literally 2 years ago, they started having new music.
Right.
Like, this is that same band from 5 years ago.
That's awesome.
It's pretty epic that they do that. So, Awake at Last, what do you guys have in the next few months coming up? Obviously, you got this run with Rob.
So right now, we are enjoying being back on the road. It's been amazing seeing the people again. I know that we've been working. I know when the quarantine really hit us, we turned inward. We did a lot of writing. So we're hoping to get some new music out soon, like sooner rather than later.
I know you can't throw any
maybe a
dates out
potential. Not yet. We haven't fully finalized everything. We're still in that kind of creation phase right now where we're like really trying to figure out how we want to like bring it, because we've always been about positivity and like, overcoming obstacles, but the music scene shutting down was a huge obstacle for me personally. And while I've written songs from this almost fictional standpoint of like, characters that I feel like anybody can relate to, these songs that we're working on now, and I know that we're thinking about calling it The Balance, because I didn't want the listeners to think that we're like no longer about the positivity, but I needed them to like, I also like can't help but be genuine, and art is, music is my outlet, and like when things got real dark there, man, like the songs got dark. So I'm kind of like, I try to paint it like a soundscape from going from like, I'm hoping that the low point that all the music industry experience, especially the artists, because I know it's hard for us when you lose the show, when you lose the reward, the industry can really beat you down. Like it's not as fun when you don't have the people and the rock and roll to like, it can be a lot to process. It's not an easy job to do, but I love it. But, and I'm hoping that after this low, that in the future there'll be like a renaissance for music, and we'll reach a high point that has to match the low, right? Because there's always the balance.
So what if? So now if you're thinking about this balance album, here's an idea, just throwing out of what you just said. Why don't you have some of the beginning songs start out as the low and work up to the high?
You're on a good page, my friend. It seems like we're on a similar page. That's kind of where I want to go. The Change was also a concept album. But yeah, I want people to like go. It's also healthy to feel those emotions and to to go through that. So I'm hoping that we can paint a nice picture with the balance and understand that it really is at the middle where you'll find peace. You know what I mean? The high highs are great, but the low lows suck.
You are telling me, my man.
Right there, right in the middle, where the yin yang comes together, that little S. It's my favorite part of the yin yang.
There you go. So Vince, where else can we find you guys in the next few months? Where are you going to be besides
right now after this tour? I think we might be doing. We are doing Metal in the Mountains, which we got added to, which is awesome. I cannot wait for that.
Oh yeah, that was just like the other day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. We definitely are excited to get out there. We haven't been to West Virginia in a while, so it'll be a good time. And then we might be doing some more dates coming up in October, but there's a lot of. You're not sure right now. People are still in that kind of in between.
Venues trying to figure shit out. All that stuff, and
I get it. You want to make sure that the fans and everybody is safe, and it is what it is. But so as of right now, we're hoping to maybe come back out to the Midwest. Maybe in October. That's kind of the general plan, but we can't confirm yet. We don't know what's all fully going down.
And I gotta thank Laura, Miss Metal.
Yes, Laura.
She's the one
that
totally
got us food earlier. She is the sweetest.
Not only that, but she got me this interview with you. So I really
very
appreciate
cool.
her doing that. And Vince, obviously you can check out Awake at Last, all
Please
of the
do.
socials. They have their music out. You can check out Armageddon. You can check out all of their music catalog, Spotify, everywhere you get your music.
All the things.
All the streaming services.
It helps.
Whatever, so
it helps, my friends.
Check them
out. Add
out.
us to your playlist. Check it out. Listen to it.
My man.
All right, brother.
Appreciate
it's been
the time
a pleasure.
today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And check out this podcast, a badass podcast, and also, as I said earlier,
oh my God, this one piece of hair, dude. I'm telling you, it's
right there. Bam.
Bam. Take care, guys.
Thank you. I am award-winning published photographer and journalist Evan J. Thomas, and I'll be bringing you badass artists from the genres of music, art, sports, radio, as well as TV and movies. On the Badass Podcast, you will hear raw, bold, blunt, and honest conversation-style interviews where no topic is off limits. Check out the show at badassproductions1.com and go to the On Demand tab and pull up the Badass Podcast where you can watch or listen to your favorite show. Get ready, because I am Evan J. Thomas, and this is fucking badass.